Hey guys, welcome to Garage Reviews. I hope you're having a fantastic day because I certainly am. Because today I have with me the Rolls Royce Wraith for a review. I am extremely excited to review this car, guys, and so let's get started. But before we start with the review, I especially would like to thank the people responsible for giving me this car for a review, and that is Select Car Pvt Limited. They are the official Rolls Royce dealership here in the Delhi area, and if you are interested to buy a Rolls Royce, well, you can contact them using the links in the description below. You can know anything about this car or any other Rolls Royce, just go in the description of this video and check them out. And now finally the Rolls Royce Wraith. The Rolls Royce Wraith is a two-door, four-seater Grand Tourer which is actually based on the chassis of the Rolls Royce Ghost. And to prove my point, as you can see, I have the Rolls Royce Wraith with me anyways, and we also have a Rolls Royce Ghost over here. If you see that the styling of the Rolls Royce Wraith is very much similar to the Rolls Royce Ghost as well. The only difference being to the visuals is the chrome bar right there is there in the Rolls Royce Wraith but not in the Rolls Royce Ghost. But the Rolls Royce Ghost is a review for another day. Today we're just going to focus on the Rolls Royce Wraith. And so without any further ado, let's get started with the styling of this car. Now, there is no doubt about the fact that Rolls Royce produces one of the most beautiful cars in this whole world, and the Wraith really is no different. At first looks, the dual tone color of this car has won my heart over in just the first sight. I seriously love the color of this car. Now, starting with the styling of the Rolls Royce Wraith, the first thing that catches the eye is the enormous, beautiful, elegant front grille, which is completely chrome. The grille of this car looks very nice, and it also has the Rolls Royce emblem front and clear in the center of the grille, telling the person in front of you that there is a Rolls Royce behind you. And if that isn't enough, well, you also have the Spirit of Ecstasy shining in its glory and telling everyone that there is a Rolls Royce on the road. Anyways, that was about the grille and the front fascia. If we talk about the headlamps in this car, the headlamps in this car have the normal projector headlamp setup which is expected from any high-end luxury car like that of the Wraith. And we also have the indicators given down below. They are not integrated within the headlamp array. We have the indicators given over here which are a separate thing which looks nice. But the best part about the styling of the Wraith in the front is this chrome slat, which gives this car a very nice and elegant look according to me. But once again, coming back to the headlamps in this car, if an eagle-eyed person looks at them, well, at first you won't really notice anything special. But if you come really close to the car, you can see that we also have another Rolls Royce emblem which is given in the headlamp array of this car. I mean, no one will ever look at that, but still Rolls Royce has given it for the few people who do. Now, Rolls Royce is a company known for its attention to detail, and the side is where it actually reflects the most. Let's have a look, especially at the wheel area over here. The alloys in this car have the RR of the Rolls Royce emblem as the wheel caps in this car, like in any other car. But one thing that a lot of people don't know is actually that the Rolls Royce symbol over here has the same orientation even when you're driving the car. That means that when you're driving the car on the road, the RR of the Rolls Royce emblem doesn't move along with it. It always stays in the same orientation, and that is upright. How Rolls Royce is able to do that is because the wheel caps in this car are weighted, and this is a fantastic feature that I'm totally in love with. Now, another thing that is an attention to detail in this car is the valve cap. Even the valve cap in this car has the Rolls Royce emblem engraved on it. That is something that no one will ever focus at, but Rolls Royce has still given it, because for the few people who do, they shouldn't miss the details of the Rolls Royce Wraith. Now, one more thing. If you look at the reflector over here, you might think that this thing over here is a screw, and how is Rolls Royce given a reflector which has an exposed screw? Well, no, this is not a screw. This is actually a camera. And that camera is actually for the blind spots here in the front fender area, and so this is a camera and not a screw. Rolls-Royce would never do that, and they've actually found a way of hiding this camera in such a great place. I literally salute them. But anyways, moving back over here on the front fender, you can see that we have another Rolls-Royce emblem, signifying that once again this is a Rolls-Royce car, and telling the people to the side of you that you are seeing a Rolls-Royce to your side. And now, last but not the least, is the door handles in this car. Yes, the door handles are given on this side, and that is because this car has the traditional Rolls-Royce suicide doors. One feature that we all love to have and wish that our cars also had it, but no, they don't. The Rolls-Royce Wraith does. And now let's have a look on how we can actually differentiate between a Rolls Royce Wraith and a Ghost. Like I said, the Wraith is actually made on the same chassis of that of the Ghost, and even so they have the same engines in them. And how can we actually differentiate between a Wraith and a Ghost? Let's have a look at that now. First differentiating factor is the number of doors. The Wraith has only 2 doors, 1 and 2 on the other side, whereas the Ghost has 4 doors, 1, 2, 3 and 4 on the other side. So that is one differentiating factor. The other one is the coupe style design. The Wraith has a coupe style design, as you can see, but the Ghost has a normal sedan type look, as you can see over here. So for a comparison, look at this and look at this. And so that is the biggest giveaway of how you can differentiate between a Wraith and a Ghost. And now moving to the rear of the Rolls Royce Wraith. The Wraith has a very simple rear end which complements the elegance of this car. As you can see, we only have the Rolls Royce logo in the center of the rear over here. We don't even have the badging for Wraith or which model this is or anything like that. Just the Rolls Royce logo, and that's it. But moving down below, you can see from far, you can see that this car has a dual exhaust setup. But if you actually look inside, each exhaust setup has 2 exhausts in it. So from the exterior, it may look like that the Wraith has a dual exhaust setup, but in actual it is the quad exhaust setup. And so that was the styling of the Rolls Royce Wraith. And we can all agree on the fact that this is one of the most beautiful cars that we have ever reviewed on this channel. And not just that, this is the most beautiful car that I've ever seen. And now let's move on to the interior in this car. But first, let's open the doors, these suicide doors that I just am in love with. The interior of the Rolls Royce is just amazing. It's so magnificent. Every single thing you touch in this car has a piano finish, or it is leather, or it is wood. Plastic is actually forbidden material when it comes to Rolls Royce. Everything in this car has such a great quality, and when you open the doors to this car, it's just like that you are in a paradise, because this car's interior is the best that I've ever seen in any car till date. You have some buttons which have glass over them. They're not plastic buttons or even chrome buttons. They have buttons which have glass finish. That looks so great. And the dashboard in this car has a piano finish, and above that you have the leather finish. Every single thing in this car is just amazing. It is hard for me to explain. The camera is not doing justice to this car when it comes to the styling of the interior. Now, I would like to mention a few things that are my favorite, and that is, first of all, the AC switches. If you have turned on the AC in this car and you don't want the airflow to be so much, and you want to decrease it, or you want to close the vent as it is, well, there is no such dial that we have in normal cars. This is a pull switch that is chrome finished, and that chrome finished pull switch has such a great weight to it that when you just push it or pull it, it does give you a very high quality feel, which is the standard of Rolls Royce. Now, the second thing that I do love is the analog clock in this car, and not just any analog clock. The analog clock has Wraith written below it, and it also has the Rolls Royce symbol in it, reminding you that once again, yes, this is a Rolls Royce that you are sitting in. The third thing that I want to talk about are the seats. The seats are leather finished, and it does have a few chrome inserts which looks very nice, and they are not at all uncomfortable. They're very comfortable because the seats are so soft that when you put your hands on them, your hand sinks into that seat. That looks very nice, and it is very, very luxurious. The other thing that I do like is that the headrests in this car have the Rolls Royce symbol stitched on them, which looks very nice, and it is another great attention to detail in this car. Now let's talk about performance. This is a GT car, and so along with comfort, well, performance is a great factor, and this car has a 6.6 liter V12 engine, and so I think it is pretty fast. And so let's see. This engine is capable of producing 624 horsepower along with 820 Newton meters of torque, and that is the highest that we have gone on this channel till date, and those are humongous numbers. This car will be able to do 0 to 100 in just 4.6 seconds. It's a very heavy car, I tell you, because of the sheer luxury of this car. It's a very comfortable car which is leather and wood filled, which makes this car very, very heavy. Still, this car is able to do 0 to 100 in 4.6 seconds. That blows my mind. And this is possible because of this 6.6 liter V12 engine, which is very powerful. The top speed of this car is 250 kilometers per hour. So, Rolls-Royce has the comfort, we all know that, but performance of this car is really nice as well. And so let's close the hood of this car now. But please guys, be careful, don't bang your hoods on the front, just push them down lightly and don't hurt your cars. And now, starting with the features of the Wraith, I actually want to start with the doors, and that is exactly why I've actually opened the doors as well. The windows in the doors of this car are actually double glazed. Now, the advantage of that is actually that it does a lot of sound deadening. When you're sitting in a car like a Rolls Royce Wraith, the car is very silent. I mean, it is so silent in this car that even if you drop a pin, you'll hear it in this car. And so reason for that is that they've done a lot of insulation, and one of that is the double glazed windows, which you can see on your displays right now. Now it's time to close the doors, but it may get annoying because you're sitting in your Rolls Royce and you want to reach out and close the door, and the doors are actually rear hinged, so it does get a little bit more difficult. And Rolls Royce has actually thought of that, and they won't let you do a little bit of manual effort or even get annoyed. So they've actually given electronic doors. So you have a button which you can press and the doors will close themselves, or even the driver has the control of the passenger side to close the doors. Here's a little preview for you. And so you can actually electronically close the doors in this car. Now, you must have noticed that I didn't actually sit in the car when the door was closing, because the thing is, this car is actually sold. A very lucky customer here in the Delhi NCR area has bought this Rolls Royce Wraith, and so it is his property now. And so without his permission, I don't want to sit inside the car because it actually is his now. And so I will be shooting the car, but without sitting in it. Now, the next feature that I want to talk to you guys about the Wraith is the Starry Night headliner. Well, the owner of the car has actually opted for the Starry Night headliner. He could have also got the sunroof, but in my opinion, if I were the customer, I too would have went for the Starry Night headliner because, well, look at the beauty of this thing. You've got to admit that is pretty cool. I mean, the vibe that it creates in the whole car is just amazing. I can just imagine, you know, sitting in this car going for a long drive with that Star in Night headliner on. I mean, that would be amazing. Now, just imagine that you're in your Rolls Royce Wraith driving along, you know, for a long road trip or going on a long drive or, you know, commuting somewhere in general, and suddenly it just started raining. Now, Rolls Royce has even thought of that. They don't want their customers to, you know, even feel discomfort when they're outside of the car, not just inside. That is the level of luxury you get. Well, they have even given you an umbrella in this car so that when it's raining, well, you don't get any kind of discomfort. This is the umbrella you get. You have a button that you just need to push and the umbrella pops out. And the best part, that even this umbrella has the RR logo given on the umbrella. I mean, this is just amazing attention to detail. Anyways, let's put this back in this pocket over here for its new owner. Now, the next feature that I want to talk to you guys about is actually pretty mind-blowing. Now, it is about the AC controls in this car. The AC controls are 4-zone climate controls, which was expected from a high-end car like the Wraith. But even in the 4-zone AC controls, you have some options which I have never ever seen in any other car. Let's have a look. Over here you can see that we have the AC control over here, and 2 are in the back seat. But even in the front seat, you have 2 different kind of controls. One is this dial over here, and second is a dial over here for the passenger side, and then we have one dial over here and then a second dial over there. At first I got confused that why have they given 4 dials for 2 AC zones, like one the passenger side, one the driver side. Then I thought maybe it is for the rear seat passengers, and the front seat passengers can actually control the temperature in the rear seats as well. But then I actually talked to the Rolls Royce executive over here, and he explained it to me. And this feature actually blows my mind. Let's have a look once again. We have 1, 2, 3 and 1 over there. So we have 4 AC vents for the front seat passengers. 1, 2 is for the passenger side, and 1, 2 over there is for the driver side. So these 2 dials are actually for the different AC vents in this car. For example, if you want a certain degree of temperature to come from this vent, control this dial. And if you want a certain degree of temperature to come from this vent, well, control this dial. I mean, how awesome is that? So in short, I can say that 4-zone climate controls is actually an understatement. This car has 8-zone climate controls. Now, the Rolls Royce Wraith has pretty low ground clearance. Now, you might think that if you're buying this car, then maybe you won't be able to drive it over some roads in India because of the potholes and certain problems. But that is not a problem, because Rolls Royce has given air suspension in this car, and so you can change the ride height of this car using a button which is given below the AC vents. And now, starting with the practicality. In the traditional garage review style, we're gonna open the glove box and see the practicality in the glove box, then move to the center console, and then we'll move back to the trunk. So, in the glove box of this car, once you open it, you can see that it is a very large glove box. You have a lot of space for keeping a lot of stuff. But as we all know that Rolls Royce is actually owned by BMW, a lot of things have been taken from BMW cars, but still I don't understand why they haven't taken the style of the glove box, because in BMW cars you have a very organized glove box. You have a place for keeping the owner's manual, you have a net, you also have a place for keeping pens, but all those things are absent from the Rolls Royce Wraith's glove box. It's just a pretty standard glove box which is lighted and has a lot of space for keeping a lot of stuff. Now, a special mention is that even the glove box has very nice material. It's completely velvet lined, and even the handle to open it is completely chrome finished. It's also lockable, and one thing, if you must have noticed, is that even in the glove box you have this one button for keeping the trunk locked and unlocked. If you want to lock the trunk and you don't want anyone to open it, well, just press this button and the trunk will be locked and no one will be able to open it from the outside. And now, moving on from the glove box in this car, moving on to the center console, you have a covered center console storage. Even the cover in this car has a piano finish along with chrome inserts, which looks very nice. But once you open it, it opens ever so slightly and it reveals 2 cup holders along with a place to keep the key to your Rolls Royce Wraith. Once everything inside there is done and you want to close it, well, you just push it back and it closes automatically, and it closes ever so slightly, and it looks so good and luxurious. And now moving below, we also have another center console storage which is also covered in the same piano black finish along with chrome inserts. You open that ever so slightly and it reveals ashtrays for 2 people in case you wanted to smoke inside your Rolls Royce Wraith. Well, Rolls Royce has given you a place to smoke and throw your ashes in the ashtray over there. And now once we're done with the 2 cubbies over there, the next cubby is the center console storage, which also serves as the armrest. To open it, you have a small silver chrome finished button. Once you open it, it opens the glove box to a small height, and so fast it looks so good. But once it does open, you open it and it reveals a pretty large center console storage which can be used to keep a lot of stuff. So practicality wise, the front passengers would never have a problem keeping their stuff in the Rolls Royce Wraith. Now moving to the rear seats in this car, we have another center console over there, and we have 2 different center console storages along with an armrest which also acts as a center console storage. If you talk about the first center console storage, when you open it, it reveals 2 differently sized cup holders for 2 passengers of the rear seats. And it too has the same lid with piano black finish and the chrome inserts. After you close that, you also have another center console storage. When you open it, it reveals another ashtray for the people who like to smoke in their Rolls Royce Wraith. And last but not the least, we also have another center console armrest over there, and when you press the silver button to open it, it reveals a massively large center console storage. I am not kidding when I say that this is the largest center console storage that I've ever seen in any car that I have reviewed till date. It is very large. And so that was the practicality of the Rolls Royce Wraith from the interior. And now let's talk about the trunk in this car. And so for that, let's go back. First, we'll talk about opening the trunk. We have 3 ways to open the trunk. First is the request sensor given below the trunk. Second is the driver side footwell button or a button on your key fob. Now I'm going to open it using the request sensor. I just have to push this button, and it's an electronic tailgate, as you can all see. And so the trunk of the Rolls Royce Wraith is very, very large. And given that it has a coupe style design, it does blow my mind that how they're giving such a large trunk. And so the practicality of the trunk of the Rolls Royce Wraith is very good. It's a very large trunk, as you all saw. And so now we're just going to close it. And for that, just press this button and the car will do the work for you, because once again, it's a Rolls Royce. You don't have to do any kind of manual efforts because you own this car. And so that was about the styling, the features, the performance and the practicality of the Rolls Royce Wraith. But still, we're not finished, because this is a Rolls Royce and we have a lot to talk about. Now, during the shoot of this video, I told you that this Wraith has already been sold. Now, keep in mind that he's owning a Rolls Royce, and so he will be having a lot of options. Rolls Royce is not a car that is always manufactured. You can get it built, and Rolls Royce are hand-built cars. So let's talk about the few options that the owner of this car had. So this is the sticker of this car, Rolls Royce Wraith, as you can see, and we have the exterior color this, we have a navy blue interior trim, and we have a piano black finish. And these are the features which are standard in every single Wraith, but these are the options that the owner of the car has actually chosen. So now we're in the Rolls Royce lounge, where you can actually set the specifications of what kind of Rolls Royce you want. Right, so these are the leather options that you can choose for your Rolls Royce. Please excuse for the flickering that is happening on the screen. It's because of the LED lighting, and LEDs have the tendency to flicker. So moving on, these are the color options that you can choose for the leather that you want in your car. I mean, seriously, there are so many options that you can choose from. And these are the seat leather. Here you can see that these are the different colors that you can get your Rolls Royce in. There are so many colors that you can choose from over here. But these are the wooden options. Like for example, the car that we reviewed today had this piano black finish as the wood. But then you can choose for this wood or this one or this one. I mean, there are so many options that you can choose from when you're buying a Rolls Royce. So that is one of the reasons why Rolls Royce is such a big brand. They custom build the car the way you want it. I mean, these are just the options for the colors. These are options for the color of your exterior, those are the wood options over there. I mean, these are just the interior options. They have so many features of technicalities. Like for example, the Starry Night headliner that we saw in the Rolls Royce Wraith today, well, the owner of the car could have got the sunroof, but he chose the Starry Light headliner. There may be so many customers who wanted to go for the sunroof instead of that option, and so they have to custom build every single car according to their customer's preference. So that was a review of the Rolls Royce Wraith and an overview of the Rolls Royce company in general. If you're interested to buy any kind of Rolls Royce, those options, well, you can choose from hundreds and thousands of different options that the Rolls Royce Lounge is able to offer to you. I mean, Rolls Royce has literally blown my mind. I knew that Rolls Royce is a very big company, it has a lot of options, but seeing the car in person today, well, this has actually blown my mind. And if you're interested to buy this car or any Rolls Royce car, well, check in the description. There is a link to Select Car Pvt Limited, which is the official dealer for Rolls Royce. Thank you so much for watching my video. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up. Comment down below what was your favorite part about this video, or if there is something that I can improve on, tell me down in the comments below. There are a lot of reviews coming from other Rolls Royces and Ferraris now, so subscribe to our channel. Thank you. The car you buy does not matter, be it a Phantom, a Wraith, a Ghost, or any Rolls Royce. Rolls Royce will take care of your car with 4 years unlimited mileage warranty and services.